Let's talk about some of the names that entered into the portal, what's going on with that. And then we'll talk about what the wide receiver room is going to look like in 2026. And should we start to panic about some of the depth pieces? We'll do all that coming up here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. And if you haven't already done it, go check out our new Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer club. Find our show and join. It's $5 a month or $50 a year, and you get ad-free audio access across all of your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you like to listen to Locked On Sooners. You get it ad-free through the Everydayer Club. You can also get access to a members-only Discord channel server that allows you to just have more interaction with Jay and I and have more interaction with everydayers across the Locked On network and hosts as well from other shows. Again, $5 a month, $50 a year over at lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. All right, Jay. Oklahoma is not immune to the transfer portal departures, especially as you make big acquisitions like a Trell Harris and Parker Livingston and guys along the offensive line and tight end room. So the Sooners lost Ivan Carreon, Zion Kearney, and who's the other one I'm missing?
Zion Kearney, Ivan Carreon, Javonnie Gibson joins the fray. Yeah. You're starting to see a little bit of an exodus going out of Oklahoma in the last, I guess you could say, few hours or whatnot. It's, the game's the game, right? So as you're starting to bring in more players, Trell's going to be a 1-year rental, guaranteed. Satania will be your 1-year rental as well. You bring in Parker, and that's a 2-year rental, right? That's a 2-year, portal guy that you're going to have for a bit. And some people feel threatened that their opportunity is going to be taken away. To me, it kind of sucks, because I was really hoping that we would be able to find a way to integrate the young players with this. I understand for a Javonnie Gibson, he only has 1 year left, and Trell and Parker Livingston is going to start, most likely.
Yeah.
They're most likely going to get the bulk of the snaps because they're very much experienced, and they've shown that they can get the production. Won't be perfect. But for me, I was really hoping that we would find a way, and we'll talk about this more in depth in the next segment. But the getting something like Zion Kearney, who was one of our highest rated wide receivers in the Emmett Jones era, change is big there. So now we're at 23 outgoing transfers, and now I'm curious to see if that's it. Because I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't feel like that's it. I do sense that we'll probably get closer to 25 transfers at minimum. But the good thing is, though, as you mentioned, transfer portal giveth, it taketh away. Some of the players that we had, they've landed on their feet pretty well also.
Yeah, Kobe McKenzie lands with Northwestern. You saw Jacob Sexton committing to Oklahoma State.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
But in-state, that makes sense.
Man, I'm hoping that the dude has a healthy season. I just want him to have a healthy year and go and be the guy. If it's for Oklahoma State, by all means, go have a productive finish to your college career.
I like Eric Morris, so I don't mind it for Eric Morris. So no argument for me either.
Listen, I don't hate Oklahoma State. I really.
Oh, I do.
I mean, listen, they're a rival, so I dislike them. But I think it's better for the state of Oklahoma when Oklahoma State's actually good at football. So
fair.
The fact that
good mental health, it is.
I mean,
society. Yeah.
I live in out in eastern Oklahoma. There's a ton of Oklahoma State fans out here. And it's just not even fun to talk football with them because they don't have any hope. But now they got a little bit of hope with, we've devoted a little bit too much time to Texas and Oklahoma State on this show, and we apologize for that. But go check out Locked On Longhorns and Locked On Pokes for all of your other Red River and Bedlam needs. But yeah, you see like Javonte Barnes lands at Kentucky. So a lot of these outgoing portal guys, they're getting opportunities at high level places. It's just the opportunities were dwindling at Oklahoma, or Jim Nagy, now with a year to evaluate the roster, decides, hey, listen, there's just not a fit here anymore. And as much as there are reasons that are outside of Oklahoma's control in which players decide to portal, some of it is within Oklahoma's control in this day and age of college football. Like, players are getting cut.
Yeah.
I know nobody really wants to talk about that, but that's the reality of the situation. I mean, Parker Livingston felt like he got cut from Texas.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Out.
The game is the game, but Jim Nagy is making some hard choices for Oklahoma, and all in the hopes of making the roster as a whole better. And I think so far, through the first 5 days of the portal, I think we could say that we're better than what we were.
Oh, no, 100% agree. This is probably the best start in the portal era we've had since Brent Venables has been here, or just portal era has actually, quote unquote, existed, because we've been on a heater with a lot of highly talented players coming in that really we feel like truly can contribute immediately. Mm-hmm. Like Rocky Beers as well as Hayden Henson are a fantastic bridge to the younger tight ends that we're going to bring in. Plus, we'll probably go get one more younger tight end to add to the team to hopefully balance things out. But you've got something. Lloyd Avant's going to be a fantastic return guy. You make him out there to return. Heck, he may go into the game as a change of pace guy, third down back on passes, and cause problems out there automatically. And then you're bringing in some youth. I love the Dakota Fields pickup. That may actually hurt the Aaron Scott potential, the former Ohio State corner, because Dakota is young and he's probably going to take a lot of snaps at 6'2", roughly 200 pounds and stuff. So, yeah, I expect at least 2 more to go out, and then we can try to figure out what's next for this squad. But overall, man, you can tell that they do like their players, but this has been the best haul we've had, like I said, in this era, period.
Yeah, and there's still areas where they need to address. Linebacker is one of those. They're still waiting on a decision from Cole Sullivan, the Michigan linebacker. The guys over at Sooner Scoop have been really active in reporting this one, that Brent Venables went up to the Northeast and to Pittsburgh to visit him to make one last pitch. Still waiting on a decision there, and that's a big domino. If and when that one falls, it'll kind of help shape the way Oklahoma continues to attack linebacker. We're still waiting on a Cody Sigler decision, the Arkansas State defensive tackle, who's gotten a lot of national interest. They missed out on a defensive tackle target from Michigan State, ended up going to USC. He's going to be looking around wondering, are there any other defensive tackles that I get to play with? No, just me? Oh, okay. It's going to be the John Travolta meme where he's just looking around the room and can't find anybody.
Will Smith and Fresh Prince just walk to an empty room.
That's right.
We're moving out.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see them look at adding another edge potentially. The edge room is full. You could see them adding another safety. I think they still need some offensive line depth, even though we like the guys that they've got so far. We like the incoming guys, especially in Deacon Schmidt. You still need to have a little bit more depth because you're really young as it is. If you can find some guys that are willing to come in and maybe have some snaps and compete for a role, or just be willing to be a backup with that coaching trajectory, maybe some potential there, but I think there's still areas where Oklahoma can add. Remember, you lost 23 guys. You got to find that many more guys to come back. And I think you're up to 9 at this point in players added so far in the portal. And they're going to be heavy players. I haven't seen anything from Owen Long yet, and that's one that's been on Oklahoma's radar. Again, Cole Sullivan is the big linebacker domino. If you get him back, and then we're still waiting on decisions from like Kip Lewis, and we're waiting on the NCAA for Owen Heineke, and that could really define your linebacker 26.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, just don't even bet on Owen Heineke to show up, and it's not his fault. We don't trust the NCAA, and I think they're actually planning for that. I think they're the way that the aggressiveness we've seen them with Cole Sullivan on top of Owen Long that we've been hearing that, and I think they're looking at a few other linebackers as well. That their expectation is that we're not going to get lucky with Owen Heineke. It sucks. It's the NCAA, but if you get him, great cherry on top. That means you'll have a really deep rotation. But, keep your eyes open on that. I expect some more defensive guys to land and some more offensive linemen later this week because we've actually got visits and stuff. And I think that'd be a great topic for tomorrow.
Yep. All right, let's discuss what's going on in Oklahoma's wide receiver room coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.